Hello, comrades, and welcome to episode number 253 of the Terminus podcast for the weeks of June 1st, 2025. Happy Pride. Actually, that should say May 31st, because that's the Saturday. I'm not supposed to give away the fact that we record this late constantly. Whatever. June 1st, Happy Pride. I'm making an exception. I'm your host, Ellis, otherwise known as the Admiral. I'm here every time. That's why I don't appear on the thumbnail. With me, I have Aiden Jansen, Jonathan Van Aken, Tyler L., and Mace. Welcome to the podcast for the first time.
You're the chosen one. You're supposed to destruct the Sith, not join them. I'm gonna forget the line. Even
Are we the Sith? Are we the baddies?
No, we're the good
guys.
guys.
The baddies. Yeah, no, we're the good guys. Yeah, you know, it's we bring peace, prosperity, and justice to our new empire. Our new empire being the Penn Central.
True.
Well, before all the potatoes go bad, the train will terminate at this station.
We are in not America. I actually don't know where we are because I haven't been paying attention to where the camera's supposed to be. Because that's
outside the Tokyo Skytree.
Why did you start talking? You didn't pick this camera. If you don't know where it is, you don't get to say where it is. Bender,
True.
Where are we?
We're outside the Tokyo Skytree.
Thank you.
Yay.
It's always you three.
Yes,
Really quick.
Where's the meme?
Compared to last episode, this is going to be a very, very short Class 1 Mantle of Responsibility, but I did find a way to make it more annoying for myself. Ignore that. I will get to that in a second. But we have had 3 wrecks that were recorded and labeled and sent to us on our Discord, which you can join in the description or in the cargoes document, which is linked in the podcast, in the description. CSX Transportation hit and killed a person on this was the 13th of May. I saw the updated date as the 16th, but it happened back on the 13th. There really doesn't seem to be much information about this. It happened in Antioch, Tennessee. Yeah, this, you know, it's unfortunate, and it sounds like it was intentional, which is even more unfortunate.
Was that the person who killed themselves?
Well, we've got 2 of those this week.
Okay, because I actually saw a video of someone doing it the other day, from VFR. I was like, oh, check out VFR right now, and I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah, I don't know if that was that one. So there might have been a third one, which also is not great. NS hit and killed 3 people. They hit a vehicle. No, this is not the vehicle hit. A train struck a family on a rail bridge, resulting in 3 deaths and the injury of a toddler. Don't cross railroad bridges. This isn't Stand By Me. Just don't. It's dangerous. There's nowhere for you to go. People will die. You might be one of them.
Only crossed it when an Alco Prairie is on the other end, and
No.
you've got film crews nearby.
Oh, okay. I mean, sure. But no, generally don't.
A 440 going 88 miles an hour, or 87, I guess.
There wasn't a
Almost
bridge.
88. Didn't it go
There was
off
a bit of a bridge there.
There was half a
It just
bridge.
was not
That's not a
complete.
bridge. I'm not calling. That's not a bridge. If you can't get to the other side, it's not a bridge, and I'm pretty sure exactly what the
Clearly-
Rutland Railroad was arguing in court.
Clearly, they didn't have enough speed. If you were going fast enough, you would have made it to the other
No,
side.
that's called a ramp, not a bridge. You can see this in the documentary Speed.
That's not what these minute and a half long brain rot videos on YouTube Shorts tell me from Beam and G.
Yikes.
A very important documentary.
There was also a truck hit by a train. CSX did that one. That was on the 22nd of May. And those are all 3 of the Class 1 incidents. We do have 3 other incidents. The these are unclassified, as in we don't know what railroad they belong to. There isn't enough information provided with them, and they were not tagged. On our Discord, we have emoji for all of the Class 1 railroads that you're supposed to respond to the post with, but no one responded to this post because no one could figure it out. There was a vehicle stuck on the tracks in Chesapeake, Virginia, so I assume that was a NS train, or maybe a CSX train, or maybe something that wasn't a Class 1. Woman was hit by a train after a vehicle got stuck on a railroad crossing. She drove down a service road and attempted to cross over the tracks, got stuck on the tracks, and a train hit her vehicle at low speed. Not very exciting. There was another video, or another incident of suicide that we don't know what railroad was involved. I believe it was CSX, but I cannot say for certain, and there's not enough information in this article for me to tell. That was on May 30th. And then there was what I'm going to say, even though it's not a Class 1, even though it's not a Class 1, is the best wreck of the week, because we actually have video of it. A semi-truck stalled on the tracks in Melbourne, Florida, and got obliterated by an FEC train. This is the best wreck because no one got injured and died.
No, we have video of it.
Yeah, I said we have video.
Oh, okay. I thought you said we didn't have video. My bad.
No, this is this one's special because we have video.
I find it really funny in the video as well. It has the note, there's a sign saying, trains may exceed 80 miles per hour, in reference to, I presume, Brightline. This was not Brightline. This was FEC just sending a Jeep.
Yep.
And it finally got somebody.
It's the truck was it wasn't a surprise. The truck was stuck. With all that in mind, so I think the FEC one is the only one I can say should be the best wreck in good conscience, because no one died and no one was injured.
Yeah. It's also a rock train.
And
FEC.
the Union Pacific retains the Class 1 mental responsibility. Congratulations. All of the links to all of these wrecks are available in the Cargoes document. Let's move on from the depressing stuff. What has everyone been up to in the railroading community lately?
Nothing.
Does being depressed count?
Damn.
No, I'm actually the opposite of depressed because I have SIBO!
A little retail therapy always helps East out.
Yeah, especially when
True.
you said the retail therapy is, 7 engines in a caboose.
Holy cow. Wait, at once?
Maybe.
What did you, stumble into some guy's estate and clear him out?
Yes.
Maybe.
But, unironically.
Okay. Stay winning.
So $15 FA, $11 FA, $15 FB.
Yeah, this did in fact happen.
And then
Two
And
comedians.
then
2 GP40s for reasonable prices, considering they sell for about $150. I got them combined for like $200. And another GP30 because we need more GP30s in the world. Hoorah! So that brings my seaboard. Notice one of the FAs isn't here yet because it's still in Colorado. Thanks USPS. Gonna be here yesterday, my ass.
It's still trying. Me leaving my house at 7:99 to get to my 7:30 meeting.
Yes.
Yes, $7.99.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a nice price.
No, it's a pretty good price if you ask me. It's maybe the best price. We got the best
God
prices,
damn it.
$7.99. $11 FA. You can't beat the prices we got. $11, $15 FB. Which I was actually kind of surprised to learn the FB is powered,
Oh.
which is really cool. I didn't know they made powered B units. Almost everything is Proto 2000 except for the two GP40s I bought. The new things are the 506, the 2 neon green GP40s, the 2 FAs back there, the one in the mail, and I have something else coming in, and I don't remember what it is. Plus the stuff Steve's bought, I think we've now brought our Seaboard combined roster up to like 35 engines, if not more.
So at what point, like, how many engines did the Seaboard have total?
At least 35.
Okay, damn. All right, so you might be there.
Yeah, no, I mean, okay, at least 36, because we know they have at least 1 centipede, or whatever it was.
Oh, yes, you need a centipede.
Yeah.
Oh god.
And like before I had like done a retail therapy, we didn't actually have any duplicate locomotive classes. At least from the Seaboard, because technically the GP30 is Atlantic Coastline, not Seaboard. Like not SCL, so technically it doesn't count by association. But no, now we have, of course, as you can see, a duplicate GP30 and a duplicate GP40. But those are the only things that overlap.
Are they duplicate
Well,
classes
and the
or
duplicate FA.
Classes.
Oh, okay,
Well,
yeah,
I
so-
guess there's also the duplicate FA, yeah.
but no
Which they
duplicate
only have
numbers?
3 FAs. No duplicate numbers now.
That's still that works. That's still good.
Yeah. There's a couple other things we're looking at buying. Because Siebes is happy that we have the permanent layout set up at the museum now, so he wants to buy something. So it may still expand yet more.
I don't remember you
Like
talking about
another
the permanent
FEC
layout
mountain?
setup on the show.
Oh, yeah. That's
Or
because
at
it
all.
like just happened. So my club struck a deal with the Gold Coast to host our modules in the layout room as a temporary permanent setup until we get to start building an actual layout, which will be, as far as I'm aware, the largest HO layout south of Atlanta.
Oh, shoot.
I don't know if that counts Texas or not, because like we're more south, yippee. But there may be a larger layout in Texas, but we don't count Texas like at all. They can go back to being an independent country for all I care.
That's not the South. It's just Texas.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we're largest in the south of Atlanta. Texas, I don't know. They can go back to Mexico. That really funny proposition. Sell Texas to Mexico in exchange for old Mexico for Texas.
Oh god.
Wait a minute. Wait. Hold on. Okay.
Now we trade
sure
Texas
that
for
might be a
Baja
very
California.
You know what? I agree. Run Givos down to Baja, so
Yeah.
you can run tank trains full of Baja Blast.
Yeah, that's where it comes from.
God.
You know, it's only Baja
Exactly.
Blast if it comes from the Baja section of Mexico. Otherwise, it's just like sparkling diabetes.
Just laugh.
We need Baja California so that we can make long California.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can make Hearts
how
of
else are you
Iron
going to get the new
Border.
Californian Republic? You know, NCR or something like that.
I still need to watch
but
the Fallout show.
Yeah, these are also organized by Ellis's OCD numerically.
Yeah, no, I appreciate
even though
that
you
they're
can start
organized.
seeing the numbers by like the 5th unit. But they are numerically, including the Caboose. The Caboose are also numerically, even though you can only see one of them in any of these photos, except for the top one. So yeah, Seaboy.
Seaboard, congratulations.
Thank you.
I did not buy anything. However,
Ooh.
I did get to spend money. I guess I didn't get to take it home with me, but I got to ride behind 2102, which was
Damn, you didn't get to take it home with you?
yeah. No, Gloria said no.
The government doesn't want you to know this, but you can take.
The T-1s are free. You can take them home.
Yes.
You didn't give any money to Petone?
Oh, no, because I wasn't able to. The wagon was not fixed in time for this adventure. So I drove Mew's car all the way there and all the way back. Like, it was kind of funny because it's not like we borrowed his car. He was with us. He just sat in the back the whole time, and I drove.
He's been relegated to like the cup chair.
I was just like, listen, I get car sick if I'm not the one driving. So, can I drive? And no one really argued with that. So, you know,
What are they gonna say? Get car sick?
yeah, it's skill issue.
I
I
get
don't
car
know.
sick whenever somebody else drives my car. Like, are you kidding me? Somebody's gonna like kill it.
Okay,
That's
start.
mobile mode.
Bender, I think
activated.
Your car is so far gone, Bennett, that I don't think you have to worry about someone else killing it. I think you have to worry about it
Well, you have
killing
to step
itself.
on the gas.
Yeah.
Are you worried about someone else driving it? Is it possible for it to be driven?
My dad's driving it
Call
right
Morgan
now.
and Morgan,
I think
they'll
he's
figure it
looking to
out
get
for
rid of
you.
it again.
Yeah,
It's like the only working car. It's like the one we had the longest, and it's still broken.
Benda, I have a solution for you. Because you drive stick, that automatically eliminates like 90% of the server from being able to drive.
True.
That is
I'm
true.
included in that.
Damn, I think I could drive stick.
Ooh.
I haven't driven stick since I was like 15. I
I
used to
thought
know
that
how to
the
drive stick.
940 was stick.
No, I'm not that cool.
It's a Volvo,
Damn.
dude. It's automatic.
No, there's plenty of stick Volvos out there. At least the older ones, and there's a lot of people that really chase down those manual wagons and stuff.
Simply give it a transmission replace.
I was one bolt away from needing to do that on the 240 when it was hanging down off the bottom of the car.
So
Anyway,
wait.
I was supposed to be talking about going to Pennsylvania. I don't have any, I don't know if I have any pictures. I don't know if I took any pictures. But we rode behind 2102. Oh wait, yes, I did take a picture. I have the best photo. Hold on.
Oh God.
So, rode behind 2102 from Reading to Jim Thorpe and back. Honestly, fantastic. Can recommend. Was a great trip. Coming out of Jim Thorpe, heading back to Reading, steepest part of the trip. And you could hear the engine working, and it was incredible. I haven't heard an engine work like that outside of the Georgetown Loop.
Oh, excuse me.
And they slipped it at one point, and I was like, "Oh, Gloria, did you hear that?" I'm actually going to send a bunch of photos here because I do have a little bit of a photo record. We have the leaning tower of Scranton, which, if you look at this building very closely, you will notice that it is not vertical.
Oh.
And that's not an optical illusion. It was not vertical.
Can we blame Casey for this one?
I tried. But so we checked this out before we went to go down to the train. This was the day before. We went and we hung around Steamtown. We took photos of... well, I didn't take any photos of anything, but Mew took a whole bunch of photos of Bullard number 2. They recently outshopped that locomotive, and it looks fantastic. I'm kind of bummed that they didn't make it operational. It's like the size of a tea kettle, and they could have puttered around the yard with it. I think it would have been really fun for Hand on the Throttle. It was designed to be operated by one person. I didn't know that. It's a really unusual engine. We signed the big banner that was on the train. I just went down to the corner, and I wrote, "Buy trading cards, the Iron Horseman Company, 1/4 of an idiot." So hopefully that'll be immortalized in some way. I don't know what they do with those banners. I assume they either shove them in a filing cabinet or auction them off.
I would assume they use them to start the locomotive each time they do one of
Yeah,
these.
bye-bye.
Your hopes and dreams will become fuel to the fire.
Jim Thorpe is a very cute place. It's one of those places that seems to revolve around tourism. There's one main street and a whole bunch of little shops, which were all really cool to duck into. There was a bookstore. I didn't buy anything, but we know someone who did. And got a pretty good burger. Got what else did I buy there? I can't remember what I bought in Jim Thorpe. I bought a milkshake. My whole shtick for the trip was I need to find a milkshake, and then I did, and then I was satisfied.
Question.
Yes.
Is the vehicle you can see in 3 of those photos
Yes.
that is pacing the train? Is
Yes.
that who I think?
Yes, it is. Another reason I'm bummed that he's not on this podcast. Also, the Pineapple Cup fell while it was at Casey's house, and the straw snapped. So I just have a regular plastic straw that is wedged into the bottom half of the surviving bottom half of the straw. But yeah, so we were being paced. by a whole lot of people. But in this case, I looked out the window and I saw O'Gillies pacing us. And I went, oh my god, and I had to get a shot. I had to line it up. So there's the man in question. And then the next day we went to Knoebels, which is a really cool amusement park. Also can recommend. It's the largest free entry amusement park in the US. You buy a book of tickets and pay for the rides individually. So you sort of, you spend as much money as you want to. And they have a couple of really great wooden coasters. They've got a steel coaster. They have a bobsled coaster, which is one of a kind. It is super cool. And then the next day we swung by Steamtown, took a trolley ride, and headed on home. It was a nice long weekend. It was Memorial Day weekend, if you couldn't tell by the giant date on the banner. So, I definitely enjoyed that. I don't know if I'll go back to ride anytime soon, but I'm glad I was able to mark that one off my Foamer bucket list. Meanwhile, up in Maine, I just have to plug this. The WMF is like sort of towards the final push to build our new coach, Coach 9, which stuck my head in there the other day. It's absolutely gorgeous. Even these pictures don't do it justice because it's got like most of the gold leaf on it now, but the woodworking is incredible. So yeah, we're in our final push for Coach 9, and then our very tired Coach 3 will go into the shop for like basically strip it down to the bare bones and build it up again, because it's one of the original coaches for the railroad, and it's been around for a very long time. I'm just going to show one photo onto the screen here.
Oh, also, you saw the notes about 202, right?
202?
Yeah.
No.
They got what remains of Flanger 202 from Albion.
Oh, shoot.
Yesterday.
I did not know about that. That's really cool.
Yep.
Anyway, links to all this stuff is going to be available in the Cargos, as usual.
Let me get the link.
Yeah, I was going to say elaborate, because I didn't hear about this. I have my 2-foot group, but I don't always pay full attention to it.
Yeah, they got... It mostly seems to just be the actual frame and, trucks gear. So I'm not sure what all remains of the actual flanging equipment. There is a piece there that makes me think they might have a little bit more, but not entirely certain. It was reportedly in a barn for about something like 50 years or so. After the closure of the line, then Albion, those guys got it.
Another barn find.
Yeah. So presumably the WMF will rebuild it, and then they'll have a flanger for the mountain extension and all that chaos.
It's nice to have a flanger.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool. I look forward to seeing that next time I get up to Maine, which might be next month. I'm trying to convince Gloria to do the tintype portraits for their birthday. Which would be actually literally the day before their birthday. So, hopefully I'll sneak back up there soon. I can't help but notice that there are a lot of blanks on this document from what we've done. This is what happens when we actually do podcasts on time. Tyler, what is ValveGear.exe?
So I got a little bit of a mail call from Japan the other day.
Hot diggity dog. Santa mail.
Yeah,
It's more things on, to clarify just a tiny bit, and I'm not going to say too much because I'm still working on this. Is one, there's 2 locomotives in JNR service that got a specific version of, it's a modified form of basically Baker valve gear called Usami. It's variable lead, and I picked up 2 magazines on the off chance hope of it gives me a bit more detail. And it definitely did. Here's a shot of number 77. It's a C-57 type. This is, I think, 1960. It had this from 1954 till October 1961. And it's just been making a calculator for how to actually simulate this valve gear and then making it in CAD to check my dimensions has been kind of this off and on project of mine. It's getting a little bit further. It's a lot of pain. There's a lot of little intricacies in this that Bender does not understand, that I kind of understand, but I need to animate it for myself to make sure I fully understand.
Bender
before...
catching strays out here. Yeah. Bender, you do not understand it.
I'm a visual learner sometimes.
Bender tends to hear most of my updates pretty fast. He's just the first person that gets updates.
Well, it's mostly because I want to see how this conjunction of something works. I want to know how this functions on a locomotive. I want to see it go around.
Yeah, and it's frankly really annoying because I'm not sure how the heck they did this without a computer or any sort of modern mathematical equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is you've got free inputs into the combination lever for one output, and it's slightly painful. But yeah, it's something. Hopefully I can figure out what the rules of thumb for this are. But yeah, fun times. Definitely. Not
Good
losing
luck.
sanity here.
Since we have a few more minutes left in this section, I will open the floor a little bit. I did want to, of course, extend the courtesy to our guest, Mace. Is there anything you wanted to chime in with?
So I guess most notable thing, graduate college, but
Congrats.
For model trains, I haven't acquired too much new, other than I acquired a sacrificial GP20, which is a mantua shell on top of a blue box model, and its guts are going to be shoved into my vintage Gales and Midland Jeep that has 1985 older components. I've owned this particular Jeep since 2020, right before COVID hit. It's become a freelance I've adopted and now texture a lot for a Minecraft pack. But I figured it's about time to give it an update since last time I ran it, it sounded like a dying car. I guess the notable thing is I finally ran my entire Japanese brown car set at my friend's op session after running an actual train.
I'm just paging through all these photos here. That is quite a set. I wanted to highlight... I wanted to highlight how effing long 2102's consist is. If you want to get a feel for that, this is familiar. But yeah, this is quite an investment. That is a lot of passenger cars.
What can I say except you're welcome?
Yeah, Israel made me make that financial decision to acquire those.
Yeah, we're all great friends here.
Yeah, well, no, I'm great friends with your guys' wallets.
I would say you should use the word peers, as in peer pressure.
Yeah.
I also love the Missouri Pacific, yo.
Yeah.
I paged right by this. I paged right by this photo and didn't even notice that it was Missouri Pacific.
So I can give you a backstory on 13740. Basically, someone in the model train server years ago posted about it. I was like, all right, this time I ever get one of those yos, I'm going to have somebody do that. So I pick up a yo and have my buddy that has worked on Missouri Pacific stuff before go through, make that thing fully DCC, and repaint it so it looks exactly like the caboose as it was when it was first painted.
I'm sorry, did you say DCC caboose?
Yes, it's got lights and everything in it, fully functions.
Well, that's incredible. It's also the longest wheelbase, It's also the longest wheelbase bobber caboose I think I've ever seen.
Surprisingly, yeah. It actually...
There's longer. The Yo 5000s are longer, I think.
Yo.
Yo ho, a pirate's life for me.
But yeah,
Mace, do you have the photo of the actual Mopac caboose?
Hold on, what? Hold on, let me look. Wait, no. Oh, this is the Yo 5000. Oh, this is the. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's the comparison. It's
Yeah.
you versus the guy she tells you not to worry about.
Well, you see, one's got length, one's got width. You know, you gotta take your preferences.
Sure.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting creature on my roster.
And we should clarify as well that this is not like out of thin air. This is.
Oh no! What?
So is this what we would have done with the caboose?
Excuse me?
So this is what would have happened if Harriman bought the South Manchurian.
True.
Yes.
No, this is a real thing in Japan. This isn't like funny made
All
up.
right, yeah, but like, why?
Listen,
It's as good as ours.
we could have bought like a caboose for like $1,000 and done this to it. We could have painted it in like Penn Central. It would have been great.
No,
Okay, yeah, but like, but why? But why did someone make the Missouri Pacific Japanese caboose?
It's a little piece of home.
Yeah, it's a little piece of home in Japan.
All right. This is what happens when
throw
your
a card
birth rate
in on it,
declines.
that's great.
Anyway, so that's fantastic.
Yeah, this is like McCarthyism or something like that.
I don't think that's what that is.
It's better pink than dead.
In fraud we trust.
Yes.
I like how it even says local service only on it.
Yeah,
And like all of the
Andrew's
weight stats are
service
correct.
online. You could really torture Casey with this, I think.
The Missouri Pacific tax write-off.
It's like, honey, where'd all the money go? To the Missouri Pacific. Oh, it's an investment in America? Yeah.
Yeah, and then, the truck is backing into the front yard with the thing.
Oh my god, wait, isn't this at a campsite, Tyler?
I think it's an Oriental hotel, but I could be wrong. Let's see here.
That's what it was. It was because I was like, if it's at a campsite, you know what this can make a special appearance in.
Oh no. No.
Oh yes. Yes.
I'm just glad no one has mentioned the park bench. That's directly next to it.
The Neo Oriental Resort.
What do you tell us? We have two locomotive trading cards directly in front of us.
Also, speaking of which, we did go and take a photo of the park bench that was featured in Mark's Madness. And I wrote to the three of them, and I said I found it, and Weibold replied, "Oh sweet, you can get measurements for stats."
See, if I was on the trip, I would have the tape measure with me, be like, I'm ready.
I mean, in fairness, it's like within the line of sight of Casey, so okay. Right. There's a Mopac engine. What about it?
Yeah, that's an SDP 40.
Okay.
Yeah, this photo is
It's
also
got an
happens to be. Go ahead, Mace.
That's a cursed engine because it actually has a number of an SD40 to S2.
Oh, see, this is something that I would never notice in 100 years.
See, is the SD40-2 also in Japan?
Yeah, no. Again, a third thing that O'Gillies is missing out on in this episode. SMH my head. But we are
Bullying
over.
O'Gillies the episode.
But we are over time for this segment, and no,
Which means
we're
it's
not
time to
doing
move
Locomotive
on
Versus.
to-
I'm keeping it on hiatus so that we can actually get these episodes done. I apologize for everyone who comes here for Locomotive Versus. We will get back to it. I have been itching. I have been scheming. But I have a lot of trading cards to work on and a wedding to plan. So there are some things that I cannot fit in my life right now, sadly. If anyone wants to play Locomotive Versus, you are welcome to download the sheets and get the rules off of our website, theironhorseman.com. I recently took the time to make pages for each of the Loco games. There will be more to go on those pages at some point soon, TM. One of the things I want to add is, as I've talked about, sort of typical how to play kind of games, where I grab 2 people or 5 people that know a lot about the game and are able to give us a good clean fight and maybe explain why they're doing it a little bit so that everyone can learn how to play. If you're not into playing Locomotive Versus, you just like to collect the cards, well, we still have Batch 4 cards available. That's Into the Woods. And there will be 3 batches coming down the pipe at some point, probably this summer, optimistically. So, with that in mind, we will move on past Locomotive Versus and on to our discussion topics, which, as I failed to mention at the beginning, is fraud, allegedly fraud, New York Central, so I assume fraud, and Metra, which I will assume nothing about.
And also
Chicago.
So, yeah, welcome to the Fraudcast. East, how exactly is the bunny fraud?
The bunny is fraud because,
It rode for free.
yeah, it rode for free. It took a free train ride on that.
Police release mugshot of rabbit left on train.
Yeah,
What?
they fully arrested it. Got to put it in little baby handcuffs.
Okay, so please give me the full story here. I know I buried the lead a little bit. So what is it? What is this?
So someone left their pet bunny behind on a train, and they couldn't figure out who left the bunny on the train. So they took some mug shots and put out a press release trying to identify the owner. The federal police are taking care of the animal. It's great. And they've nicknamed it the Easter Bunny.
This was in Germany. This also happened back in April, which is why the Easter Bunny moniker was timely. But yeah, this is passenger rail operator Arverio reported a rabbit was found in a transport box. So, okay. I kind of expected them to make it like an accidental mascot and not like a jailbird.
A mugshot?
Yeah.
Yeah, so... well, speaking of getting arrested in mugshots, don't trespass, even if it's for the official Evangelion train, and kill Ayanami staff. No, kill Asuka staff.
Kill who?
A character from the show.
Asuka Langley Soryu.
James Bond.
The random person aircraft carrier.
Yeah. No, so this railway in Japan has a unit that is in a special livery for the show Neon Genesis Evangelion, and they have an issue of too many people trespassing, because they offer a special paid tour to where you can, take a look at some of the props and stuff like that, as well as if the unit is in maintenance for the moment, you can take a look at the unit. People have stopped paying and are simply just walking into the area.
They're gonna have to lock it up.
Supposed to be.
Free the bunny. Lock this thing up.
Yeah. Those who know. So yeah, no, foamers are just ignoring the no trespassing sign because this sign can't stop me because I can't read. And as far as I'm aware, it's not just foreigners; it is also Japanese foamers, which train otakus are an entirely different breed of like. It's like, oh yeah, the Japanese are super respectful, and then like all train foamers, when like the cool Dr. Yellow's coming into the station, and they're all like seeing who can get run over first.
I mean, there's like 2 breeds of foamers over there.
Yeah, there's like regular people, and actively climbing on top of people like monkeys trying to reach the last banana on the tree.
The photo lines on like hills over there can be insane.
Oh man, there were people stacked like 3 deep in the photo line when 2102 came out of like whatever the hell little tunnel you go through right outside of Jim Thorpe. when it was working real hard. It's just we came through, and we were in like the 4th car, and so I just see like literally like a cheerleader tower looking of foamers, and it's like, oh, I get what's going on here.
I will try to see if I can find it later, but I've seen footage of I forget which special it was that was running, but it was like you could not see the hill next to the tracks. There was just
God,
everybody and their mother with cameras.
Yeah, here's an image to idealize, not idealize, but to show it. They have released holding foamers back.
Yeah,
it's like there are some people in like train foamers are
flying Scotsman.
What I will say as well in regards to this specific case, because it is the Tenryu Hamanako Railroad Company, which is shortened to Tenhama, they're actually pretty darn nice about information. They have an online service that tells you what specific unit is going to be on what service that day. And so that you know which wrap it will be running, because the majority of their fleet, they have one loco. Well, not one loco. They're all diesel rail cars. They have one diesel rail car that's in house colors. Everything else is either JNR throwback or tied to like a media title. So you have the Evangelion unit, you have my glorious Eurocamp unit, you have 2 JNR throwbacks for limited express and local lines, etc. And they tell you which one is going to be on which service, assuming that it's operational. So you don't need to like do any guesswork. You don't need to hack into, whatever software to figure out what they're going to do. They will tell you, yeah, it's going to be on this service, it's going to be on this, timetable. You will see it at this spot at this time.
Damn. I mean, that's on the one hand, very, very ingenious, very helpful. On the other hand,
very Japanese.
Yeah, very Japanese. On the other hand, maybe if you didn't do that, there wouldn't be so much chaos.
Honestly, I feel like the opposite. Like, you can at least predict the chaos that way. And like, people are only going to go out for like the one train.
Yeah, but then people can't just go out for the one train. They have to just sort of hope they see it.
So they have to be chaotic the entire time.
Well, you spread that chaos out.
Well, it's either the first person sees it, because they're going to know what service it's on.
Yeah, well, that is the problem. These things are very regular, and don't wander too far. It's not like seeing a heritage unit in Nebraska and then going, I wonder where that's going next.
Yeah.
This is very much A to B on a one-track line.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll put up some of these on the screen for everyone to see, these wraps, which are kind of incredible, actually.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a photo of Rin, like the chunky Rin Shima, like just staring deadpan through the window.
Oh, I think I have that.
What is the second?
I know you have it. That's the Evangelion unit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's the one that Foamers are going mad about.
That's the one that Kevon needs to get. Just like
Kevon needs to buy the Eva unit.
It just needs to happen. It just needs to happen.
This is the Eurocamp unit with one of the characters in like a suit, like one of like a fluffy representation of one character staring deadpan through the window.
To clarify as well, this is the season 3 wrap. The one a little up is the season 2 wrap. And they do they will rewrap these things on
the regular.
Yeah, depending on what the series is doing. They can do it pretty fast, but they can also, some of these have been, I think the EVA unit's been running around for 5 years now. So, honestly, kind of surprising it's a problem right now, but...
Well, because I think the issue that compounded it is the staff also being there now. Like the stabby, which doesn't help. Because even in that photo, you can see there's a ton of foamers there for what I assume would be a relatively old photo of it, doing its thing.
Yeah. Which is really funny that they do use it. It is a full 4 or 5 stall roundhouse there that they just use on the regular. And these are
Here's my
diesel
zoomed in crop of the image. That's not my zoomed in crop of the image. Here's my zoomed in crop of the image.
There we go.
Oh,
no. God.
And this is what the suit looks like, not in a.
It looks so melancholy. It's the gif of the SpongeBob dude who's just going to work, going home, cuts from in the car to in the office.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I'm getting from the cropped photo. No, not that.
not the same gif, but similar.
Similar vibes.
Yeah.
Anywho, so that's that. Mascots and all that jazz. I don't actually think I have anything that ties well into that. So
hey, where have I seen this one before? Well, no, it ties into fraud. And speaking of fraud,
wait, no. How does it tie into fraud exactly?
Because they're committing fraud by not paying to enter the tour to see the things.
I guess that's true. I'll give you that. Tyler, does your subject relate to fraud?
Depends. How much do you consider the New York Centrals would be frauds?
Frauds of vibes.
I mean, Ellis 100%. The rest of us, I don't know. I think the Pennsylvania's the frauds claiming to be standard road of the world.
Hey, it's not their fault that no one
else
else followed them. It's not their fault.
Someone's got to point JNR.
All right, on the land of non-frauds, how about
the JNR executives and the PRR executives, their names are enshrined right next to one another on the RPI dorms. So
this is true.
It's true.
So you went and dug up something that didn't end up on our list here, right, Tyler?
Yes.
So that means I didn't get to look at it at all because I look at all the news articles at least a little bit when I'm putting them into the document.
All right.
So what exactly is going on?
So this was about 2.5 weeks ago or so. Fort Wayne partnered with a little friend of theirs in the Ohio area. A little corporation you may know as the Wheeling in Lake Erie. And they've been partnering for a little while now. With Fort Wayne, obviously, is very famous for 765. Down with the Berks. But they also have in their fleet a very nicely restored SD9 from the nickel plate, which used to serve on the Wheeling district. Now, for the past couple of months, it's been with the Wheeling Lake Erie, and they've been doing some tune-ups to it and some maintenance. And kind of to return the favor for that, especially the test runs on some of their local services, they brought out the 765 for a set of employee appreciation specials.
Cool.
Across the entire line. This was in partnership as well. There's a good friend of ours that many in the community will know, Jake, of Jake Rester's Rails. He partnered with this whole entire shindig and created some great t-shirts that are still on sale, I believe. So get them while they last. To commemorate the occasion, hopefully we'll see some more out of this soon. I'm not sure of any particular plans in the future, but it seems the Wheeling has been very accommodating to Fort Wayne, and they've ended up working very well this time around. So, you may see a Burke, you may see another nickel plate SD just running around on the Lake Erie for whatever reason next to stuff that is still painted like it's on the Rio Grande.
Yeah,
which
so dope. I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. Some people are get very mad over the cultural appropriation, but it's damn hot.
Yeah, it is, and it's nice because it is still those are ex Rio Grande units as far as I'm aware. So it's kind of nice how all that worked out.
Wait till you see 3001 on the Wheeling Lake Erie.
Yeah,
That's so real.
speaking of that, the other updates from the Fort Wayne area is Indian Rail Experience. They announced their entire catalog of events for this year. They started running on May 17th with the Drew Estate Cigar Train. They've already run some ice cream trains, a wine and whiskey, a little bit of Throttle Time. They'll be returning this month with Throttle Time, some more ice cream trains, a few other little things. The first of the Tri-State Scenics is happening, so somebody in this cast group can actually go and maybe see Steam ? Yes. So
Good. Steam.
But on
Not
top
me,
of
that's
that,
for sure.
the big news that is not actually included in here is, as we alluded to earlier, 3001. Nobody's made an article on this yet, as far as we're aware. But it just for those who are curious, they did meet their fundraising deadline for the 500,000 initial. It was, I think, May 28th that they met it. Don't quote me on that. Originally, as far as I'm aware, it was supposed to be like a May 3rd deadline, but on the website it got changed, so I think that was maybe just a typo. But they did meet it. They're a little over 500,000 right now, so that should be good to go, and we'll see it moved at some point this year. We will see. But speaking of things on the New York Central that are moving, getting back more towards the fraud land that is the New York Central. Amtrak are frauds. This is not Amtrak is fraud, as we will see later. But Amtrak causes the fraud of the New York Central becoming a New York Central only experience.
What? Hold on, please. What does that mean?
So, because of all of the shenaniganry in the Northeast, I believe specifically the Hudson River tunnels and all of the tunnel situation.
Okay.
The Hudson River rail excursions have not been running this year.
Okay.
As you know, the runs out to Albany with the lovely Hickory Creek lounge car number 43 and a few others from the United Rail Historical Society of New Jersey.
Is there anything to lunch
And,
on that can share that's
Is
beyond
there anything to
East-
lunch on?
or sweet
East-
or
Mute.
What am I doing? Huh?
we can hear conversation.
Skillshare.
Okay.
Oh my god.
This is with the camera microphone, by the way. Apparently, I don't know what the hell that one's on.
Thank you,
Well,
Mace.
I mean,
Very
we can listen. We can tell that it's far away. We can just hear it.
God.
You can't stop me from over. I'm in a tank and you're not.
All right, I'm
Oh,
just gonna
God.
mute East for a minute.
Yeah, son.
I'm using the powers vested in me by running the server.
God in anime. But anyway, so
So good to know I can unserver mute myself.
Damn it!
God damn it.
Rats foiled again.
That's made me crazy.
I was crazy once.
So anyways, as because of all of this, of course, Hudson River Rail has not been running this year. And so with that, these cars kind of need a new venue to do their thing. It is a thing with this that they are designed to make money for the organization for their upkeep. And they have been doing that very well the last few years with the Hudson River excursions. They could have maybe gone and run off to Fort Wayne for a while. But frankly, Fort Wayne, I guess, already had all the cars that they needed, and they also wanted to experiment. So in conjunction with FMW Solutions Rail Operations Division, I think that's the correct name, as well as the Finger Lakes themselves actually wanted to develop a tourist market.
Huh.
So these cars, plus a few more from a couple of other operators, have actually gone and run off to the Finger Lakes for a while. So they'll be running from Solvay through Seneca Falls, Geneva to
Actually, quite a ways. I'll put the map up on screen. From Solvay all the
whatever
way to
Canadiana Lake. That's yeah.
How do you pronounce that? Canandaigua.
It's obviously Canada Dry Lake. We've gone from Bahamas to Canada Dry.
It's actually, I mean, I'm here for that. It's way better than Schweppes Lake.
Yes.
I'm right though.
So they'll be starting to operate these relatively soon across the 167-mile network of the Finger Lakes, which is surprisingly large for, at least in my mind, for a short line up there.
Yeah, I'm surprised there's that much railroad that they can just stick around on. That's quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, the excursion, the 2102 excursion was, I think, 120 miles round trip, just for comparison.
Jeez. Yeah, so they're taking Hickory Creek, the Pullman Swift Stream, Tavern Lounges 37 and 43, and a Penzi coach number 1547, which was originally a sleeper. These excursions are actually designed to be pretty affordable, starting at $30 a person, do hour to 2.5 hour round trips, various weekends across the 10-week season. They'll also be partnering with a local wine trail. So if you're really into wine and you want to get out there and you want to ride in the fraud that is the New York Central.
I mean, it's kind of neat though. It's really cool. These are really cool historic coaches. Some of these are done up. I mean, I'm sure they're all done up quite nicely.
The true fraud is the wine snobs along the way.
Yeah. It's the rail experience cannot sort of protect you from the wine snobs, but just don't think about that too much. Just knock it back and be happy.
Yeah.
More than a dozen local wineries and breweries. That's really neat. That's fantastic that they're sort of tying everyone together for this. If I was in that direction, I would consider taking a ride myself.
Tickets go on sale in 5 days, June 6th.
Okay.
So if anyone's in the area, it's starting over the 4th of July weekend, so probably a good time to go out and take a ride. And I don't know how much the cost will be to go on the observation lounge, but God, seeing the videos of the Hudson River excursions, that was really tempting.
It's pretty scenic. I mean,
yeah,
you could just ride that. You can ride that on Metro North or on Amtrak, and on its own, it's very pretty.
Okay, but like, you do that in a private vintage rail car though, and a lot of the people that I was seeing online were really getting into it, and you go there in period dress. You go do the red carpet experience, and that is just...
Yeah, that's really cool. Bender, do you need time to digest your article at all, or are you ready to talk about that?
I think I'm ready. I've been looking into them.
Okay, yeah.
Fraud your way for the fraud.
Because I need to understand. Yeah. We're gonna like, we will get to the Metro stuff, but I feel like we have to talk about the actual fraud. And
It's bad.
yeah, mine is much less exciting than
From this family.
East.
He is.
See, this wasn't an issue when my headset was working fine, but now that I've already turned up my mic sensitivity so high it barely picks up me. I literally have to scream for it to pick up my own voice.
Okay,
Oh, so that was
well,
you.
like, go on push to talk.
Yeah.
Fair.
It has always been a problem.
true.
You just would be on push to talk more often.
Oh.
Anyway, so Bender, what is going on
Yes.
at Amtrak?
So, Amtrak, they had some issues here. They got defrauded by some people that worked for them, which is great. We love it when that happens, right? Down with the corporations, as they say. This isn't the way to do it, though.
Also,
Well,
you're
especially not the like one good corporation.
True.
yeah, don't
Right.
like go after some other corporations, please. I'm using Amtrak. I need it.
Yeah, exactly. I want to take them right now. That's what I'm doing.
I'm currently on a
I'm,
train.
you know, I was about to say, I'm currently on Amtrak, like on the pod right now.
Yeah. You're
so
on the
it's,
Floridian. It's 18 hours late. It has not left Miami. Don't look,
Yes,
by the way.
I know where my latest train is.
So a couple podcasts ago, probably, I think we talked about how 5 or so Amtrak employees, former or current, I can remember if they were still working for him, they pled guilty to doing some stuff, like stealing money from Amtrak. Well, apparently it got worse. So, mostly referencing the other article here, they were billed $16 million and bilked $12 million, which is a lot. And that is 119 employees. So previously, it was just like 5 that, stole a pretty decent amount of money. Not going to say their names here. Why would we give them the time of day? But 119 employees, half of which are still currently working for Amtrak, got, split between them $12 million, which is crazy.
Damn, why would J-Shot do this?
And of those, so 119 employees implicated, 28 retired or resigned, 30 left or quit for other reasons, and then another dozen criminally charged, 7 pled guilty, and 61 are still on the job, which is quite a bit.
Yeah, I wonder what got those dozen, right? Like what makes them easy to track down? How do they know how many employees there were? I mean, they know how many employees were implicated. I wonder how they knew how many employees there were, and if they know the identities of all those employees or just the number.
That's a great question.
It feels like
an
ongoing investigation. I wonder if we're going to get more information on this later. But
I feel like we will. I'm sure that we will at some point. Of course, we have the ones that were already indicted. The ones that were already charged or were being charged for doing this. So, if they know that there are 119 employees out of, I forgot to mention this, fiscal year 2024, 22,400 employees. This is 119 of those. So it is kind of a drop in the bucket. This is a very small number, but they'll probably end up finding them because this is the government, and they don't like it when 119 people take $12 million. So,
just kick my desk. Oops.
As the saying goes, I am from the government and I am here to help.
I'm here to help.
Yeah, I'm from the ATF. Where's your dog?
Government.
Yikes.
Top 10 words you never want to hear the government say. I'm here.
Yeah, remember, when you go outside the ATF building, you can say Waco and nothing bad will happen.
The details of the scheme, which
never.
involved at least 119 Amtrak employees, were initially released by the Amtrak's Office of Inspector General on May 7th.
Yeah.
Okay. So, these were fraudulent healthcare claims. Like, I'm just trying to wrap my head around exactly what happened. So they just like made up a whole bunch of healthcare claims.
Apparently. Well, apparently some of it was like some of them were real, but they were, as in this article, that they were claims that didn't like get the money, or somewhat like claims that didn't need medical or like financial help, I suppose.
Okay, interesting.
Some of them.
This once again feels like one of those things where if the healthcare system in this country wasn't such a goddamn train wreck, it would not be possible.
Exactly.
You know,
So we're navigating the American healthcare system.
not to broad strokes this thing, because this is approximately 120 people specifically committing crime, but goddamn.
Well, you see, they saw Pride Month was coming up, so they took Be Gay, Do Crime literally.
True.
Yeah, they're all in the giant healthcare fraud polycule.
Exactly. So, but as can be seen here, quote, the healthcare providers used that employee information to file fraudulent and questionable medical claims for services that were never provided or not medically necessary.
Okay, so some of these people are not Amtrak employees that got indicted, which is interesting. It's like the other side of the ball here. There's a podiatrist from New York pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit healthcare fraud, and a biller who worked for somebody. Oh, I thought that was going to be the person in the paragraph above it. Pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit healthcare fraud for submitting false and fraudulent claims to the Amtrak healthcare plan and paying cash kickbacks to Amtrak employees. So
it's deep.
So yeah, so they had people outside of Amtrak saying, "Oh yeah, you're getting like services through us," you know, and so then the Amtrak healthcare plan would give them a bunch of money, and they'd keep some of it and give another portion to the employees that were allegedly receiving these
$5 billion to Amtrak healthcare.
Yeah, it's pretty naughty.
It's kind of like, it's amazing to me that you can get like that you can just arrange people to do this. How do you get someone in on this? You know, do you go into your doctor's office and be like, "Hey, lady at the desk, would you want to commit some fraud?
Want to commit some fraud?
Do you want some money? I think I know a way we can make some money." This is like me at the Amtrak station when the dude tried to get me into the mall.
We can make mega bucks.
Do you want to commit fraud?
Point.
Yeah, there's a point. East, please dispense that point. I was gonna just jump from that to mine, which is way less exciting kind of fraud, which is just falsifying track inspection records. Hey, ever wonder why the MBTA's track is so bad? It's because 5 people were apparently just phoning it in.
Who could have seen this coming?
What?
According to court,
MBTA.
According to court document, these 5 individuals did not perform inspections on red line tracks and falsified their reports on doing them over a span of about a month and a half. They were accused of being inside Cabot Yard, an MBTA location that has a coffee and break room, when they were supposed to be working on inspection reports. So,
nice.
In other words, this is much tamer than the Amtrak one. This is just 5 guys who decided that, nah, you know what, we'll just say that we did the inspections and we'll go hang out in the break room instead.
The modern edition of 3 men in a shed.
5 men in a coffee bar. 5 men in a break room doing nothing. The 3 men in a shed were building locomotives. These 5 are making sure they derail.
That's fun.
So yeah, that's the red line.
You know, the MBTA can't get much worse than it already is, right, guys?
Well,
and like the orange line, like spontaneously combusted again.
It hasn't. Yeah, it hasn't caught on fire too much lately. It's been pretty good with not catching on fire, actually.
Yeah, well, let's change that.
No. No, do not. This is not an endorsement of arson.
Only do arson against not museums.
No, Not that either. Don't do arson.
Damn, that
just
was
like
close.
in general.
Be gay, do crime.
It would be good if you didn't do that. Thank you.
Gay first.
So we've been absolutely tearing through this episode, which is fine, actually, because we're gonna have the shortest one on record, maybe, unless we talk about Metra for a really long time. So, Mace, what's going on with Metra? Mace?
Indicted.
Damn, well, that's podcast, everybody.
Well, I guess we're not talking about Metra. Oh well. What happened? I wonder what happened.
The Mace is still here.
Yep. And I assume he could, in theory, hear us. Otherwise, he would have said something about not being able to hear anything.
Not being able to hear us?
Yeah. Because, I don't stop talking. So,
according to my professional investigative skills, he seems to not be at his computer.
That is likely to be the case. Case closed. Let's indict 119 people.
Objection.
Objection. Actually, case closed. I think we should actually indict all of the horsemen.
Mr.
No. We need to bring to the witness stand a parrot.
I can put everyone in Gulag.
True.
Well, today I bring to the witness stand Lafayette.
Yes.
Such a good point.
Spark once if you're being held hostage.
I'm asking. I saw
I'm
Mace's
back.
circle light up. Okay, you're back.
Welcome
Excellent.
back.
I had just tried to toss the ball to you. I tried to say what's going on with Metra, and there was just a.
All right. So I'll read what's going on. So this is tied to originally COVID funds. So Metra and all the transportation agencies in Chicagoland were usually, relying on COVID fund relief. Well, that's starting to dry up, and now they've got a $770 million fiscal deficit that they're going to be facing.
Yikes.
And what happened is the lawmakers are like, all right, let's do a vote. They're going to basically create a new restructuring for all the agencies. Well, the problem is that this bill they're trying to pass does not deal with the deficit at all. So what's going to happen if the deficit doesn't get dealt with? There's going to be a lot of cutbacks in service. From what's been noted is that the pay services will have the hours reduced. So past 8 p.m. you won't get buses. Metro service will have a reduction in service early in the hours and later in the hours. Some of the BNSF lines may have reduced number of trains going back and forth per day. Weekend service will probably be limited to maybe only 1 or 2 trains a day, going back and forth. So basically, it's not looking to be really hot right now because you're basically having a restructure that doesn't deal with the issues.
This is the. Have you ever heard the saying "rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic"?
Yeah.
God.
What I did find from an article tied in with the one from trains is that out of all the major transportation agencies, the Chicago one receives significantly less compared to New York, Boston, and Philadelphia.
Huh, that's interesting.
Ouch.
I wonder why.
Yeah, state of Illinois. Yeah. There's some other issues they noted in there is that a lot of the white-collar cities outside of Chicago, they are a little bit pissed due to the fact that their votes aren't going to be as highly rated compared to the ones in the Chicagoland area. So they're kind of a little bit mad about that because they're like, Cook County is basically going to get most of this funding out of this deal either way, while their little trains that they get to their counties are going to get dried up because, there's not enough funds to, say, support the train routes or buses going into their areas.
Yeah, and one would hope this will push for an actual resolution to the budget shortfall. This is one of those things where I feel like we have to be careful about the way we address this article, because you could very easily look at this and say, well, look at these idiots. They're not paying attention to the big problem. They're doing this restructuring and ignoring the fact that tons of people are going to lose service. And it's like, okay, that may be true factually, but we don't get to see everything that's going on. I would imagine, or at least I would hope, that there are people within the state government that are trying to also address the budget shortfall. It's just not this bill. It's sort of like we're barking up the wrong tree with where we expect the fixes to come from. That said, making everyone aware of the fact that we could run into these problems. And like I get it that people outside of Cook County are unhappy that they don't get as much of a say in how the whole transit agency is run, but also they don't reap the benefit of the entire transit agency. I don't know what the arrangement is, but it kind of makes sense to me that you wouldn't have necessarily like perfect fairness. It would be weighted.
Absolutely. I do know, complaint-wise, from outside of the RTA's operations, is you've got where I live, which is the Rock Island County, Henry County. They do not want to vote in support of this due to the fact that we've got our own rail thing that's supposed to connect to Chicago, but has been pushed to the wayside for the past 30 years.
What is that?
It's the Amtrak Quad Cities.
Oh, okay.
We have the station ready to go, but we have consistently either the railroads have been giving problems, or the state's been giving problems, or they're trying to take the funding for our rail program and send it to the HR or HSR. So that's probably not helping this either, considering you've got legislators out here that are critical in voting for what they're trying to get for Chicago that are probably not going to be so friendly towards giving them what they want, because they've got their own things they got to deal with.
The HSR in question is this proposal for HSR between Chicago and St. Louis, right?
Yes, and they want to take some of the funding away from the Amtrak Quad Cities and shove it towards that.
That's, it's one of those things where you can't do everything. I would love to see more HSR, and I think that out there is not a bad place for it, but yeah, I don't know. It feels rough to have all the stuff set up for these corridor services and not... And the trains don't come. I mean, we talked last week, last episode, I think, about how much of an uphill battle it's been to get the Gulf Coast service off the ground. I can't remember if that was last episode or the episode before that.
I think it was the episode before that, because I have zero recollection of that commentary.
Okay, yeah, then that might be that. Oh no, sorry, it came through here. I actually have the article here. Yeah, the Mardi Gras service, which is going to be 2 daily round trips between Mobile, Alabama, and New Orleans, and it just keeps. I mean, this is the service where Amtrak live streamed the empty track to sort of flex on CSX and say that the route is not too busy to support Amtrak. Not too busy to support passenger rail, and they're aiming for this summer, but there's still nothing concrete about that. I will also throw the articles about that into the description, or into the cargoes rather.
Yeah. What I will say is this reminds me of, this is not specifically rail related, but on the point of post-COVID, somewhat public-private institution shenaniganry. Has anyone seen what happened with the California bar exam recently?
No.
I don't think so.
So, to explain a little bit, the National Bar Licensure, how all that works is there's an organization that makes the exam, and then the states, there's like a state board that pays for it, and then the state board also has to pay. They have to have locations, with proctors open for 2 days, right? 2 to 3 days, depending on the state. They also tend to have their own state specific for certain things where, especially California. California had like a whole day where it's basically just state specific stuff that they made up. Well, the national group forces the state groups to have these places. They have to be like major convention centers, effectively, paid for a couple of days, and the proctors. California was going to run a deficit in a few years if they didn't pay if they did do that, where they paid for about $1 million for the tests each year, plus about $1 million for the locations and the proctors for the 2 days. So they went and they spent it was like 1.3 million to a different group to come up with a equivalent bar exam, and then they were going to run that through an online system.
So instead of the physical bar exam, you'd get an online exam?
Yes.
So that they didn't have to rent out the convention halls?
Yes.
Interesting.
And so they would save about $1 million because they didn't have to pay for the halls and for the proctors. Because they can run break even plus maybe a little bit something if their expenses are about $1 million. If it's $2 million, they're screwed. In about 2 years. Well, they do this, and they learn very quickly the people that they paid to make the test and to do the online setup. The online setup was broken.
Awesome.
The test itself was run through by AI.
Oh, great.
So there's a lot of people that didn't pass. They now made it so there's 2 dates. There's the February one, and then there's the July. And if you don't get it, you have to wait 6 months, and then you can maybe practice law after you beat the next one. But in this quick cost-saving measure, they've lost a boatload of money because they lost all their progress because it went so badly in February, and they had to give effectively refunds to everybody that didn't pass so that they can do it in July. So they put themselves, instead of up the creek without a paddle, they're up the creek without the paddle. They took the shotgun. They shot holes through the boat.
The paddle was AI generated, and it didn't have a paddle
Yes.
end. It just had 2 round ends.
Exactly. So hopefully Chicago does not, grab the shotgun and start shooting its own boat.
Yeah, don't.
It needs to do some cost savings, maybe, but don't try to do stuff that's going to make it nigh impossible for you to keep ridership going.
Yeah.
To go what was it? It wasn't the Twin Cities service that we were talking about
The North
leasing
Star.
recently.
We were talking about the North Star last episode. Yeah, can't wait till Amtrak ends up with those SD70s.
Oh God,
That'd be great.
No. We don't need to give Broadway Limited another paint scheme for them.
I can't wait for Amtrak to get all of the F40s back.
It would in fact solve the passenger car problem.
Yeah. I can't wait to get on my Northeast Regional and it's a gallery car.
God. That's what Metro should do, is every single car that they're not actively using in this new timetable, lease to Amtrak.
Yeah.
Do it.
So, speaking of galley cars at Amtrak, on the old Illinois services for your regular routes, they did use gallery cars up until the early 90s.
God.
I have never been in a gallery car, and I really want to, I've seen photos, but I still fail to comprehend the, what is this picture? I still fail to comprehend the, how the interior is arranged. It seems insane to me.
So the way a gallery car basically is laid out is you got 2 steps going up to your second stories, and you basically have a whole alleyway you walk, and then you sit in your seats. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Does the IRM run gallery cars?
Yes, they do. They have the old C&W ones. Let me see if I can grab a photo from it.
Oh man. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna need to go back to the IRM. I already need to go back to the IRM because I need a photo of 3007 for trading cards. But
oh no.
If you, dear viewer, have a good photo of 3007 at the IRM, please get in touch. I would love to use it if you're willing to let me. Me getting to my seat at the gallery car, the trapeze, yeah. Anyway, that about does it for the news, unless anyone wants to chime in with anything else. This has been just about the shortest episode we've ever done. I'm here for this.
Let's quickly wrap it up so we can finish it, yeah.
I will say, Maintenance Away, as mentioned in the last episode, we've been doing a whole bunch of sort of reform in the server. We just did a Stalinbot council election, which is the moderators. There's been a whole bunch of changes to the rules. Not really anything that affects people, just sort of like procedural kind of behind-the-scenes stuff, and changing up the way things are worded to make things clearer. And we spent a nice long evening figuring out what might be in the Railway 200 batch of cards, and starting to get that squared away. There's still more work to do with that, but progress is being made. So, we'll get those well along, and then we will come back for batch 6 topic, bring that to the community, and then everything will come out at once, more or less. So, with that out of the way, may I take guesses for latest... do we have any advertisements before we go? Mace, do you have like a YouTube channel or something, someplace people can find you if you have something like that?
Yeah, I do. It's Green River Rail Fan, and I only post on there once in a blue moon.
Well, you can drop the link to that in the podcast, and I will put it in the cargoes for everybody.
Alrighty.
They can also be found on JNS. Join the cult.
Yeah, join the cult.
JNS?
It's Japanese modelers.
Oh, okay. I should have guessed. I should have just heard the letter J and thought, yeah.
Yep.
This episode is brought to you by the letter J. May I have your guesses for latest train on Amtrak, everyone?
Empire Builder, westbound.
Westbound Empire Builder. East, Tyler, Mace.
I forgot I had pushed talk on Northbound Floridian.
Northbound Floridian, alright.
As you joked earlier today, let's see if your joke holds true.
It's still in my... No. Alright, so westbound Empire Builder and northbound Floridian.
It would be like 10 hours late. No. Yeah, it'd be about 10 hours late if it was still in Miami.
What chiefs are on the board?
There are a bunch of chiefs on the board. There's some eastbounds and some westbounds at a glance. There may only be one eastbound. I can't find the other one. It might have just arrived.
Can't be that train then, because...
Mace, do you have an idea? Do you have a guess while Tyler's hemming and hawing?
Let's go with a westbound chief, because they should be probably about 2 hours late before flag, and that's never bad.
Never bad or never good?
Actually, 2 hours is never a bad, like...
2 hours is pretty bad,
Yeah, but we'll see some 4 hours. We'll see 24 hours on the Empire Builder.
Go ask Julius.
2 hours is not...
Don't...
is not a bad thing to be under.
Ogilius is not a permitted resource for this activity.
Yeah.
But wait, can I phone Carly? Who
no.
Can ask
Can I have Mace's answer that I could give you, let you know if you're right?
Oh, that's an unusual one.
Shut up. Mace?
Who said I was talking about Amtrak?
I'm a little bit foreign to tracking Amtrak trains and delays, besides the Carl Sandburgs. I'm kind of the blind.
That's okay, just throw a name out there.
Better just guess just any of the western routes tends to be pretty good.
Or the Floridian, yes.
Sunset Limited to Phoenix. It's been 1996, guys.
The train is still stuck in Phoenix.
It is.
It's been 30 years.
The only thing I know is maybe the Southwest Chief or something.
Okay, eastbound or westbound?
I'm going westbound.
Okay. That means you and
westbound
Tyler are doubling up.
My surprise was the Hudson Bay, which is 6 hours late.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry.
No, so Westbound Empire Builder, number 7 to Seattle, 1 minute late at Wisconsin Dells, or 23 minutes early at Shelby, Montana.
Damn, it's a nice day.
The Floridian northbound is 1 hour and 18 minutes late at Orlando, Florida. There is another one on system. It is 1 hour and 3 minutes late at Martinsburg, West Virginia. Not the latest train in Amtrak.
Damn.
Honorable mention to the auto train to Lorton, 3 hours and 30 minutes late at Sanford, Florida.
Yeah, when I opened up the Amtrak and I saw that the auto train was late, I was like, oh, fuck, that's right. The auto train's been, screwed over since it hit a tree the other day.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, I should have guessed that instead.
They've been recovering. The Southwest Chief to Los Angeles is 10 minutes late at Fort Madison, Iowa. And also, 4 hours and 25 minutes late at Laramie, New Mexico. That is the latest train on Amtrak. Congratulations.
Oh, he's not having a good night.
Also, there's a 2.5 hour late San Joaquin.
Damn.
There's also a 2 hour and 49 minute late Northeast Regional.
How? Wait, what?
Yeah, it picked up an hour. It was half an hour late at BWI Airport. It picked up an hour of delay between there and Baltimore. And then it picked up another whole hour of delay between Wilmington and Philadelphia.
Wait, where do you see that?
It is buried in the tangle of trains that are currently, in Manhattan.
I might be dumb.
If you zoom out so that there are a bunch on one spot.
I see it. Yeah.
Train number 106.
God.
All right. Well, I'm gonna remove Tyler's point because he was right about the latest train in Amtrak. Congratulations.
Yay! I don't feel that good about it because we know some of the engineers on that line.
Damn.
Or at least O'Gillies does. I never get to see them.
They're
always too shy when I'm there.
They're too shy.
Yeah, sometimes they will legitimately come out of the cab when O'Gillies is there at the station and talk for a minute, and every single time I come and visit, they don't. It's like
they're like, damn, stranger danger.
I'm not just the phone.
They're like, this is getting out of hand. Now there are 2 of them.
Yes.
Okay. East, what is your termination? Last words for the show.
Seaboard.
Okay. It tries to autocorrect it. I'm not letting it. Bender, what about you?
Usami Valgear.
One of us.
I am going to say it right now. Usami sounds delicious. Tyler?
I need season 4.
Okay.
True. So do I. I need season 4.5.
I don't know what that is. I am gonna do the not so customary thing and then grab an unclaimed article for my termination, which is from back at the end of April when a woman got pulled over while driving 102 miles an hour to get to a Thomas event. I think it was. Yeah, it was at Essex. She was driving 102 miles an hour to get to Essex for the Thomas event.
Essex?
Yeah. It's not even live steam Thomas. Police arrested the driver and charged her with reckless driving, reckless endangerment in the second degree, risk of injury to a minor, and failure to stop on the right side of the road. Yeah, her 2-year-old was in the back seat. She was
just to add insult to injury.
Yeah,
stopping on the wrong side of the road. It's crazy.
She was released on a $500 bond. Oh my god. So we should have, when we had the poll for what are the worst drivers, this should have been brought up and considered.
True.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mace, what is your final words for the podcast?
Final words. Well, let's see. Don't make any financial decisions that are bad for your wallet, like East.
Oof.
I'm just typing that in
The
really quick.
baby hit 88 miles an hour. It saw some things.
No, all right. I wanted to make a joke about your final words and then post that gif of the dude in the stair chair turning the corner and going down into fire. But I didn't have enough time to look it up, so just pretend that I did. So, thank you all for joining me on this episode of the Terminus Podcast. It was a very short episode. We probably didn't need to skip Locomotive Versus, but I'm glad that we were able to wrap it up in a relatively short span of time, and I will be able to go get actual dinner like a normal person and not just get the Wendy's that's open until 4 a.m. So, thanks to all of you. Thanks to the folks who are watching. Thanks to Stephen West. Without you, we wouldn't have the trading cards. Thanks to whoever runs this camera. And we will see you all next week. Well, we'll see you all in a fortnight. In case of an emergency, call Conrail. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Or